water. Okay. And that was that. So he's like, tell me, like, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is a joke. I said, you're from yeshiva, but I asked you what it was. You responded to what it is. You didn't know the words. I'm like, he's trusting you that.
I think I'm more safe.
It's so hot in here, but there's only two of the air conditioners around.
They can go down a little.
He's joking. Sorry.
Instead of being stubborn, give me a whole speech if it works or doesn't work. I'm going to take you to a place. You tell me if it goes down. I'm going to send you to a place. It's called Kedushas Labor. If you tell me that you can go down to 65, I'll talk to you. It's 65 there.
Oh, yeah? I'm not saying you can't get it.
So you could get it down. I'm not saying the chef, I'm
not saying you can't get it. I'm saying if the air.
You're going to break it up, but the fact is you can get it down to 65.
All I said was that the air conditioner is set at 70 and it's not going below 75. It's not going to help it by lowering it to 65.
Lower if you have.
Okay, so last week what we talked about was the sugya of Baila Be'ir. So Baila Be'ir means that as long as the husband's in the city, then it's mutter to do yichud with his wife. So that means if she's, and we said different parameters in that, whether it has to be mitzias that he can come, is it a overall fear or overall pressure that she's not comfortable, chazanish, or was it more specific that she could taka come? It's more like a mirsas, like we find by like a mashgiach, and whatever it is, right? So that was the shaila by Baila Be'ir. What was the yesod of Baila Be'ir? So the one thing that we discussed last week was the Baila Be'ir means that there's food over there if you want, in the next one. The Baila Be'ir means that we're choishesh, that it's clear from the whole sugya of Baila Be'ir that we're not concerned for oines, we're only concerned for pitui. We're concerned that she's going to be convinced, but we're not choishesh for pitui. So I'm sorry, we're only choishesh for pitui, we're not choishesh for oines. Okay, and that's what we said, that by a guy, it could be there is a chashash of oines, and that's why Baila Be'ir wouldn't help for a Jewish woman to be misyachid with a guy, because what does the guy care if the husband walks in? Because even if the wife cares, but he could be manas her, and therefore he's not chashash for pitui.
He's not mirtat.
The guy is not mirtat. So now the question we raised last week is, what if there's police or legal action that she could take? But apparently, the police are not convinced about that because the Chazon Ish says that maybe she's embarrassed to discuss it. She doesn't want to go to the police. And he's...
What about two guys? No, in other words, if the chash is ones, so normally two wouldn't help. But maybe there is mirsus if there's another guy there.
Right.
Both be
I didn't see that discussion. I'm not sure. Okay. So now, I want to take it a step further, and this is negea to common shilas of babysitters. So what's the common scenario? So a person has girls at home and boys, and he wants to get a babysitter. So the problem is, if you get a girl babysitter, it's yichud with the boy. If you get a boy babysitter, it's yichud with the girl, etc., and things like that. And also, it's negea, our discussion from last week, the negea, the mother-in-law that's home. Right? The negea, the mother-in-law that comes to be misyachet, the mother-in-law that comes and is home with the son-in-law. So what's the fact that there are other kids at home? Does that help? So this is a sugya in Kiddushin. I didn't make copies. It's one line in Kiddushin. So I think for one line, you can... It's literally one line. The Gemara says that there's something called a shomer. A shomer and yichud means, yichud is one man, one woman. A shomer means that there's someone on the outside being shomer. That's not part of the yichud. So then if they're not part of the yichud, they could act as a shomer. That means even though we learned that one man is not allowed to be misachid even with two women, but that's only if there's a chashash on both. It has to be a chashash on both. If there's only a chashash on one of them and the other one is not part of the chashash, so now that one becomes a shomer. And now, since she's a shomer, now it's mutter the yichud. So, for example, Let's take this example. Let's say you have one man with two ladies, and one of the ladies is Baila Be'ir. So l'chayr, there's no yichud with her, because she has Baila Be'ir. Now that there's no yichud with her, now she becomes a shomer on the other one. Okay, that's the equation. The equation is that even though one with two is usher, but if one of the two there's no yichud, she's not part of the yichud, so now it becomes mutar. Okay? So now, the Gemara talks about all sorts of other ladies that there's no yichud with them. So, for example, a person is with his sister. There's no yichud with his sister. So then if he's with his sister and her friend, so now there's no yichud with her sister, and therefore she's a shomer on the friend. Okay? And anything like that. So yichud with his mother and her friend, same thing. Okay? So there's a concept of a shomer on the yichud, which it could be even a lady. Like we said, even though there's an issue of two women, but that's only if they're both part of the yichud. If one of them is not part of the yichud, she becomes a shomer on the other one. Now the question, which is very common, is ketanim. Can a child be a shomer on yichud? Okay? So, based on what we just said, let's talk about a girl for a moment. So you have a man with a woman, and you want to have a shmira of another girl there. Okay? So what's just a simple example? Let's say parents are going out of town for a wedding. So they need someone to babysit their kids. Now they have a bar mitzvah age boy, let's say, and or a young boy or whatever, even less, just for argument's sake. Let's call him whatever the age is, 9, 10. So now he's 9 or 10 years old. And they want to get a girl, older, high school girl, seminary, whatever, older girl, single girl to babysit. So there's yichud with the boy. But they also have another kid. They have a younger girl. So does that help for the yichud? What age does the child help for yichud?
Depends on maturity, you know.
Yeah. So the Gemara gives a very precise equation for it. So the Gemara says in Daf Pei Aleph Amud Beis in Kiddushin, it says Isha v'tinoikes. Tinoikes sheyodas ta'ambia. Ve'ein moisteres atzma labia. So again, you have the example I gave wasn't such a good example. I'll give you the other example. You have a man with, like I said, let's say the case of the son-in-law and the mother-in-law, but there is another child at home. And again, that's not such a good example. I'm trying to get an example with the man. But the point is that you have a man. What's a typical example of this? There's a boy babysitter, whatever. You have a boy that's babysitting. So is there a way to get out of the yichud with another child? So the age is that she has to be right in between. It can't be that the girl is part of the yichud, because then she's part of the yichud. So what would help? You have a man with a woman and a child. You have a man with a woman, so there's yichud, but they have a child, a girl there. But if the girl is gufa part of the yichud, so that's a man with two women. So what does it help? So she can't be old enough.
Well, she's a shomer on both shomers.
Well, that's the question. If she's old enough, so then she's just another lady. So now it's one man with two ladies. It's still usher. So what's the age? She's not old enough that there's a yichud on her. So you say, okay, she's 2-3 years old. Yeah, but if she's 2-3 years old, she's not a shomer either. She doesn't chap what's flying. A shomer has to understand what's going on. But if she understands what's going on, then she's part of the yichud. So how do you have this middle age? So it's a very specific age. The Gemara says she has to be makir b'tambia. I mean, she has to understand that if there's a yichud between the man and the woman, something's fishy going on. So so therefore that makes the woman embarrassed, because this child knows that it's weird. Okay, so she's old enough to chap that something weird is going on, but she herself doesn't have a yetzer hara for it. That's what Rashi says. Rashi says it means eina moiseres atzma labia, which means kloimar mahi bia sheteda l'saper dvar bashuk, and she may even talk to people about it, because that's what she's a shomer, because she knows it's weird. But eina moiseres atzma mitoch koin adayin lo lovsha yetzer hilkach ein kan mishum das kala shlotei noichal lispata. She's not old enough to be part of it. So let's say what the age is. So the poskim go back and forth, but more or less the poskim say, well, 3 years old she doesn't know what's going on. 4 years old she doesn't know what's going on. By 6 years old, maybe they know what's going on. I think it's weird, like why are they in privacy, why are they in private, whatever. So 6 years old. But by 9 years old, it could be she's already part of the yichud because she's old enough to have a yitzhara. So the age has to be between 6 and 9. This is the age. What?
No yichud with a 8-year-old girl.
Hold on, we'll get to that. He's okay. So we'll get to that. We're not talking about that yet. So what's the idea? So the idea is that between 6 and 9 she could be a shomer on the yichud. Okay? So you have why? Because let's speak this out. Let's speak it out. I would say is because we already discussed last week, which was why I was makdim that nekuda, is because we're not choishish for oinus. We're not choishish for oinus. So we're not choishish for oinus. So therefore, even though between that age of 6 to 9, maybe the man will be ma'anas her the katana loyalenu, but maybe that. But we're not choishish for oinus. So not choishish for oinus. So now she's a shomeres because she understands what's going on. By 9, by that age 10, it's not going to be oinus anymore. She's already going to be nispate, enough, and therefore she's part of the yichud. Now, what Rabbi Avram Eliezer is asking is a very simple question. So this is the age, and this is very negeya, okay? And by a boy, it's the same thing. So let's take our case.
Could you have another kid as a shomer if you had two, more older than 10, but then you have
right. No. So let's say you have a girl babysitter with a girl, babysitter, and there's a boy that's 11, for argument's sake. Okay, so there'll be yichud. But if the next boy underneath is between 6 and 9, so now he's a shomer on the yichud. He's not part of the yichud, but he's a shomer of the yichud. But if not, it would be a problem. Now, two boys could be not.
A 12-year-old girl for that scenario.
Yeah, so the girl is a shomeres because she's his sister.
If they're sleeping with a.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But this is also shtel veka shmira. So if you would have the scenario with a girl being a shomer would be if you have like with relatives a lot of times. My brother-in-law's in town, and we're going out. Can he stay with the other kids? So if there's one niece of his that's 11, that would be a problem. But the next one is between 6 and 9, so now she's a shomer on the yichud.
Is it concern that they're gonna have Bia in the room with the kid, or that they're gonna go into privacy? Because if it's in that room, then even a younger age would be potentially 4 years old might be an issue. Because that's just they don't have to be old enough to understand what's going on for them to be embarrassed to do that in front of them. But if it's one of the other rooms, so you can say, okay, that room's yichud, but the living room is not yichud.
That's what we said last week, that it's one house, so it's primi and chitzoin. So if the entrance way to get to the front door is through the living room, it's one yichud matzav. So,
baby cameras.
Does
your baby cameras not be a game changer?
we have to talk about that. That changes everything. Right. So that's not just here.
Right.
The scenario just mentioned that the brother-in-law comes to town. If they're going out, they're still in the town. They can walk in and any.
No, but that's only by baila beer that helps. There's a special thing that the husband being in town scares the wife, but the uncle being in town doesn't scare the nephew. It has to be that he actually knows he's going to come within the shir yichud, which we said the shir yichud is 2 minutes. So it's not enough that he's potentially in town. He went to a yeshiva dinner in the Shul concert in Jungle Island. It's 45 minutes away. They know that basically they're not being back till 10 o'clock at night. Okay, so the brother-in-law's home. The niece is there, but there's another one between 6 and 9. So you would say, oh, it's one man with 2 women. No, she's a shomeres now. The katana becomes a shomeres. Okay, so this is the concept of a shomer in yichud. Now, what our familiar is asking is a very simple question. According to this logic, so then it should be mutter to do yichud with this age girl also. What about if it's just one person, one man with this girl between 6 and 9? Is it mutter to do yichud? Because you'll say, well, we just said she's not noichal hispatos, she doesn't chop enough herself, and she doesn't have a yitzhara, so Zok the Mechaber in Sif Yud Aleph Tinoike Shipchusa Mibat Shalosh Shanim V'tinek pachas mi bentes mutul lisach limoim. Mavur in the mechaber. The once the girl's 3 years old, it's also to do yichud with her. 3 years old. So Shaila is, but she has no yitzhak. So what are you choshish for? You choshish for Einis? I thought we don't know. We're not choshish for Einis. So why is it also to do yichud to her by herself? And if it's also, so why isn't she part of the yichud? What's the bira davar over here? You following the question? If it is also to do yichud, it means we are choshish something. So the Chazon Ish explains very simple. Chazon Ish says, we're not choshish she's straight out going to be honest her. We're choshish she's going to convince her. But convincing a ketana is really a crime, basically. It's really not a good thing to do, right? So convincing a ketana is really basically oinus, essentially. But it's a justifiable oinus to some sick people. So therefore, if she's by herself, maybe he'll do it. So it's also to do yichud at that point, once she's 3 years old. Because he may do this type of thing. Even a yid will choshish for that. But that he won't do.
Even a year, you said?
A yid.
Or a year.
But that he won't do in front of someone else. Once she's old enough and he doesn't feel like he's like just convincing her, then she actually joins in, so then that's a separate thing. But that's how the Chazon Ish explains this thing. That it is also to do yichud with her, but it's an awful, basically oinus, but it's an oinus that he may think is not an oinus, and therefore he may do it, but that's only between that age, but he won't do it in front of someone else.
So 2 6-year-olds?
Huh?
2 6-year-olds?
Yeah, l'chara, that's still mutter. Because the point is that the other one is smart enough to tell other people. That's what Rashi says. This other one is smart enough to know it's weird, and he'll be megal the side. As opposed to 2 adults, they're not going to be megal the side because they may be part of it eventually. Okay, these are complicated cheshbonis over here, but this is the setup of the sugya. Okay, that's how the Chazon Ish learns. Others say not like that, but this is how we paskin. Okay, so that age, once the girl's 3 years old, so it's very negeya. I mean, it's extremely negeya. This thing. Once you have babysitters, you have. Are you cold? Yeah. So I'm cold or hot? I can't figure out. Huh?
I mean, it's comfortable here.
Okay. So this is the shaila over here. It's a very interesting shaila. It's right in between. So this girl, and once she's over 9 years old, then she's a shaykh to the yichud. Less than 9, but more than 6, she's a shomer. But it would only be a shomer if she's with someone else there. By herself, even by 3 years old, is also to do yichud.
Besides the din of shomer, do any of these kids count in terms of sheer number? Meaning,
No, it's not besides. That is the no sugya.
no, I'm saying there's a lumdus of shomer. There's also a lumdus of it's not yichud, right? Potentially 3, right? 3 or 4 men. Well, 2 men with a woman, right?
Yeah,
So
no.
let's say I have
For sure it
3
counts as that.
Men, that for sure counts.
Yeah, but she has to be that age. Is 6 years old.
There has to be at least.
Has to be your desk Tom. Not
to count as a
person. Yeah.
As a person.
No, the
So
question is,
as
are they
a
part of the yichud or are they a shomer on the yichud? But they have to be they have to be that age to be part of the
only thing
cheshbon.
it's not a din of shomer, right?
If you have a baby in the room, it's not counted as a person for this purpose.
So 2 3-year-olds would
No, it's the aser.
would be usher. 2 9-year-olds would be usher. A 9 and a 6-year-old would be mutter. But
Right.
a 9 and a 3-year-old would be usher.
And a 9 and a 6 is mutter.
Right, 9 and a 6-year-old mutter, and
Yeah.
9 and a 3 is usher.
Yeah. There you go. But it's like, if she can't get through to his father, you can ask him. No. So, okay. So he has it down pat. That's the idea, okay? So 2 9-year-olds is also because they're both shaykh to the yichud. 2 3-year-olds is also because they're not shomer each other.
Could you rent out my kids? I got a 6-year-old if you need.
Right. It could get complicated.
That's a perfect age.
What?
6-year-old. We need 6-year-olds.
Right.
They tell us that the 6-year-olds.
Yeah. So now that's the halacha that it says here. Tinoikes tana. That's the age. Yudas tam bia ve'inu mases atzul labia. Okay. Fine.
It's the same age for
Boy and a girl is the same for this purpose. Yeah.
between 6 and 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but boys.
Now, 2 9s is not also technically because we need 2 9s with each. A man with 2 girls that are 9. Yeah.
But yeah, 2 girls and a man.
Yeah. 2 9-year-old girls is more.
Is gonna be
Yeah.
possibly.
No, but a boy is Yichud starts at 3. Also?
No.
Oh, so technically a 6-year-old is,
A 6-year-old is not b'chal the yichud, right?
but it helps as a shomer.
Yeah.
So that's goes
Same thing.
2 6-year-olds is fine also.
But it has to be a shomer.
No, 2 6-year-old.
2 boys.
A 6-year-old boy is fine on its own.
Sounds right. There's no isser, yeah. But it doesn't help for shmir unless he's 6. Yeah.
No, you're saying it, but lady is staying with...
A lady is not also to an adult woman, Jewish woman, is not also to misyacha with a boy until he's 9.
6-year-old boy is
It's nothing.
help. Well,
He helps for shmira.
He helps not have a different issue. If
Right.
there's a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, he helps.
Right.
Right.
Meaning if there was an adult girl with another boy, then she would, yeah. Okay. That's the sugya of ketanim. So that's the idea, because I always got confused with this. How's it shaykh to have a shomer if the shomer is part of the yichud? So it says we're talking about a shomer is not part of it. Now another thing is that the poskim discuss is we said it's also for a man to mizachah with 2 women. What if the 2 women hate each other? What's the example?
Sisters.
Without getting sisters, no, that's not
Example?
sisters-in-law.
They hate each other.
Whatever's
Sisters-in-law, or a woman. I'm just going to read the Shulchan Aruch. I don't want to be caught on record saying this. It says like this: Mutar leis yached im shtei nashim oy shtei tzaris. So 2 co-wives, obviously they hate each other. It's obvious. Oy im isha v'chamoisa, a woman with her mother-in-law. Oy im isha ubas baila, a woman with her stepdaughter. Okay. Oy im isha ubas chamoisa. That's your sister-in-law, the daughter of your mother-in-law, better known as your husband's sister. So in other words, a woman with her sister-in-law. Now I don't know what she hates about her. I don't know why sisters-in-law hate each other, but okay. Since they hate each other, so they're always looking to rat each other out.
The thing from a portion on the side, the page, they're saying, because each one wants things, so one's going to take all the money from
Yes,
the parents.
it all ties to money.
It all ties to the evolution. They're doing all this work and they're getting the parents.
No, Bas Chamoisa, right. Bas Chamoisa, yeah, what does she care?
He's going to say, I'm feeding my husband and the mother-in-law's going to take it and vice versa. The mother-in-law is saying, I spent all these years and now this girl's going to take everything that I worked for. They say it right there in the portion on the side of the page.
Yeah, the bottom line is, like you said, it all boils down to money. So if the 2 women hate each other, so now, if the 2 women hate each other, so then there's no chash yichud, because each one knows that if I do anything wrong, this is going public right away. The other one is going to rat me out. So therefore, the whole svar of 2 nashim is that each one is going to protect the other one's covered because they may be in on it for the next minute. So I know that the one woman knows that nish kafarlach, even if I do something wrong, the other woman is not going to tell anyone anything. Right? But here it's not the case. Here she's afraid of doing anything wrong in front of that other woman because she knows that woman has interest in ratting her out and basically publicizing her kloina. Being mesaper b'kloina, so being mesaper in a bizayin to her, so therefore it's also okay. Now, one more thing, and then I want to discuss nighttime, which is a whole separate shaila. Next thing, based on what we said last week and what we said this week, let's put together an equation. We said that the whole chashash over here is that we're not really choishish that someone is it mutter to be misyached. Is a woman allowed to misyached with a goyish man with a child who's the age of a shomer there? So let's take the example we said last week. Remember we said last week, if you have a woman going to do therapy in a goyish house, she's doing work with a child, and the father is home. So we said it's yichud with the father. Not only that, even if the father and the mother are home, it's yichud, because baila be'ir, because ishta imai doesn't help by a guy. So the goyish, the Jewish therapist that's working in the non-Jewish home won't help. What happens if ishta is not misham rasai? Because what does the guy care about his wife? They have an agreement with each other. But what about a katana? What about if the child that she's working with is between 6 and 9? So now, does the katana help the guy. So l'chayra it should. L'chayra it should, because in that case, because he's too afraid.
Well,
Right.
they can see, the guy can see all the time something happening, so why is he,
Right, that's the
if
point.
the parents have an agreement.
He's not afraid of his wife, but he's afraid of his child, because the child, he's embarrassed in front of the child.
But the child-
In front of the wife, he's not embarrassed.
Especially
they don't
if
care.
the chash
No.
is onus.
The child, what?
Especially if the chash is onus.
Right, so now let's go the other way. Let's say the Jewish person brings her child. So now you'll say, fine, but the guy will be honest. Even though we're choishish for honest by a guy, we're not choishish that the guy is going to be honest in front of someone else. And he's not going to. There's machlokes in the poskim, but kipshuta, this katana case would work. So let's say the woman is going to do therapy with this baby, 2-year-old baby, and the husband's home, and the father of the goyish father is home. If she brings her 6 to 9-year-old child, a daughter, son for sure, but daughter, then you would say it's still not yichud, it's mutter. Well, you say, well, why? He'll be honest the daughter. What does he care? Because we're choishish by goyim for oinus, but we're not choishish for oinus in a case where there's someone there. We're choishish for oinus stamazai, maybe, like but with one woman by the beer.
A guy with 2 women is not a problem then?
Guy with 2 women is. You want to know what was the guy with 2 women? You want to know? I don't know about honest there. You want to know one of the guys, two women. One of them is Baila Be'er. So for him to do the Baila Be'er, he has to be Manaser. But you're not going to Manaser in front of the other one. Maybe that's better. Yeah. You know, even if you'll be honest, but you're not going to be honest in front of someone else. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now, let's finish up the babysitting shilas, because really we didn't answer anything, because we really left out a very, very important nekuda. Okay, so I want to give back to the case that I had last week. That this couple, they have a nice big house, and all their kids are married. So therefore, they have no one living at home. And there's such gewaldige machnise oirech that they have this older single guy from New York that wants to spend some time in the winter here in Florida. So they gave him no problem, you could stay by us. So this single guy is staying in this house with this not older, but whatever, this couple that has, it's only him and his wife at home. Now, she calls up, oh, by the way, is it a problem? Because my husband was out of town this week for 3 days. So now, what is it a problem? You are living in the house alone with this guy. Of course it's a problem. Right? So she said, okay, so what's the solution? All my married kids live in town, so I have a lot of grandkids in town. So could some of my grandkids sleep over and it would take away the yichud? Okay, so let's do some math now. Now we have to do some math. So you have a man and woman. So you would say that a 6 to 9-year-old girl or boy would help with the yichud. So you have to invite over a 6 to 9-year-old grandchild, and that will help the yichud, or a boy older than 6, whatever age he is, because the boy is not yichud with the other man, and he's not yichud with his grandmother either. So for the boy, it would be a shomer no matter what. The girl, if she's too old, is gufa yichud with the guy. So therefore, it has to be that she's between 6 and 9, and now she's a shomer on the yichud. Okay.
6 and up boy, or a 6-year-old and up grandson, or
yes. Now here is a very important halacha that we did not mention, which this throws a major monkey wrench in this whole entire sugya, which is like this. What's the idea? At some point, these people are sleeping, right? So the Ramah says in Sif Hey, Aval imheim prutzim afil masav, v'kol ze be'ir, aval b'sadeh oy balayla ba'inan shloisha. That at night, one shomer is not enough. Because at night, the person knows that the shomer is sleeping. And therefore, he's going to take his chances that the shomer is not going to wake up. And therefore, one shomer is not enough at night. So at night, overnight, you need 2 shomer. And overnight, you need 2 shomer. Now, you'll say, well, they're both sleeping. But at that point, he's not going to take the risk that maybe neither one will wake up. Because the chances between the likelihood, it's too possible that when one is sleeping, one is awake. So you need two shomer at night. So since you need two shomer at night, this lady would need to invite two grandchildren over. Right? So you would have to have two grandchildren over, a 6 and a 9-year-old grandchild.
Bring a 9-year-old boy grandson and a 6-year-old girl granddaughter who are cousins. Now you have a new Yichud.
Right. No, but if they're less than bar mitzvah, it's not a problem. There's no yichud unless there's no chinuch on this. So even if the boy is 11 and the girl is 9,
grandmother that's a shomer anyway.
Yeah, right.
And the other guy. Wait, if the
And the other
boy
guy.
is 11, why don't you have just 2 men?
What?
2 men, 1 woman. If the boy's 11, so you have 2 men, 1 woman.
Because at night.
Because
it's
it's
night,
night,
you
you need
Because
another-
at nighttime.
You still need two shomer.
Because we're talking about nighttime.
For the guest, there's only one other person there.
He's not 2 men. He's a shomer on the other one.
So some two.
That's always the longest by...
2 men is that they're both part of the yichud, but each one is but if only one of them is, then the other one's a shomer. But you need 2 shomer.
So some two adult men and an adult woman in the same house is mutter during the day but not at night.
I'm not sure. No,
that's-
that's also at night. Yeah, that's also that you need 3.
So two adult men
Yeah.
and an adult woman sleeping
Yeah.
in the same house as us.
Yeah, you need 3.
Basically, you're saying that
Each one is a shomer on the other.
That 2 men are mutter, right?
Yeah, no, but each one is a shomer on the other.
Because it's a shomer.
Yeah,
It's basically
yeah.
the same line as a
Yeah.
shomer.
That's what the Rambam's talking about. Lo tisached isha achas im ne- Yeah, 2 men, 2 adult men. Yeah, but that.
She says 2 men.
Yeah, but the Gemara on the bottom of the page talks about going basades, so the Gemara, the place can say means at night also. So now let's talk about a babysitter scenario, a classical babysitter scenario. Now it becomes a lot more complicated because night does not mean shkia time. Night means if shkia is at 4 o'clock. Don't say, well, it's night. No, night means at bedtime.
Kids normally go to sleep.
Yeah, like 11. So. So nighttime means when they're supposed to be sleeping or are sleeping. So now the halacha is like this, that let's take this. The normal scenario is you have a girl babysitter. So you have a girl babysitter with a boy who's 10, 11, or 12. Once he's bar mitzvah, then it's his own issue. 10, 11, or 12, because then the issue is on him also. But if he's not bar mitzvah, so the issue is only on her. So this is on her, and you have a boy. So you say, okay, but I also have a girl who's between 6 and 9. Okay, but that's only one shomer. So you need to have, besides that 13, you also need to have 2 kids that are between 6 and 9. Because you need to have 2 shomerim at night. And if you don't have 2 shomerim, then there's difference now between the babysitter and the older boy. Now,
The
if
second babysitter wouldn't help because it's a boy and 2 girls.
yeah,
What about another boy? Over 9.
I mean, 2 babysitters, a boy and a girl babysitter.
yeah, that would work.
That would work also.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be between 6 and 9.
Right.
It could be a boy older than 6, basically.
Right. You need to have
So it's better for Yiddishkeit to hire a boy babysitter and a girl babysitter at the same time.
If the
No.
brother and sister.
those are yichud between
Yeah,
them.
then you get yichud between them. You gotta work that out also.
Right, but you have a 9-year-old shomer and a 6-year-old girl. Right? You have two other.
Yeah, but now you have to
If you have a
make.
10-year-old boy. and a
Yeah, if you
6-year-old
want to
girl-
have 10 people in your house, it's
If you
fine.
have a 9-year-old boy
It's
and
3 and 3 is not
No,
yichud. So
if you have a 9-year-old boy, a 10-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl, right? So hiring a girl babysitter won't help, right? But if you hire another boy to come, right? 2 babysitters, even if it's a boy, that'll be fine.
wait, 2 boys and 2 girls?
You get 2 adult boys, a boy and a girl that are adults, and then a 9-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. Right, the yichud on the boy, there's 2 shomrim for that. So that's not a problem. The yichud on the girl is also 2 shomrim. In theory.
Some say 2 shomrim. If you have 11, no, that's what he's saying. But yeah, okay.
We're saying,
Not
but
sure
bringing
about
another
that.
girl
You
wouldn't
need
help.
you need
Bringing another girl wouldn't help.
no.
A
That's
teenage
part of the
girl
yichud,
wouldn't help.
right?
A girl and a boy babysitter would help.
I don't know about that because then you have to work out the yichud between them. I'm still not sure if that works.
There's two children in the house.
But I don't know if that's true because why aren't they part of the yichud? Why isn't the girl who's over No. It's
There's
two
no issue,
boys
I'm
and
concerned
two.
about-
It's a yichud of two boys. And two,
Not the yichud on the 9-year-old boy. There's no yichud on him.
there's no isser yichud on him,
It's
but
only isser on the girls, but the girls have.
I'm not sure. Okay, that's a complicated case. But the simple point would be that you have to keep in mind you need two shomer. So a similar case with this mother-in-law case, right? The mother-in-law comes and sleeps at home with the son-in-law. So they have to have two grandchildren between this, not between, but over 6 to be shomer on the yichud. Well, once they're over 6.
There's no yichud.
There's no yichud with the grandmother. So 2 boys over 6 would protect the yichud. Okay, so this is another layer in these halachas. This is less negeh in a business setting. There's more negeh at home, but that's the halacha. The next thing, the next thing I want to talk about, which is negeh to business, is Pesach Pasuach L'Shus Ram. We'll talk next week about the halacha of Pesach Pasuach L'Shus Ram, which means if people have access into the house, this is when very negeh offices and nurses, secretaries, and all these things. So Mr. Shem will get to that next week. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Let me just.
Phone number.